Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki, Go Premanande. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa, Parivrajikacharya Stuttara Sata Sri Srimad His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa, Parivrajikacharya Ashtottara Sata Sri Srimad His Divine Grace, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki jai. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपा गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय, श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय, श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय, नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय, Gangamaya Yamunamaya ki jai, Bhakti Devi, Tulsi Devi ki jai, Samaveta Bhakti Vrinda ki, Nitai Gaura Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. It's too many. Too many. It's okay. Yeah. Hare Krishna. So today we're going to read from a book called Teachings of Lord Caitanya. Right? So on Monday is the appearance day of Lord Caitanya, if you didn't know already. So we're just reading more and learning more about Lord Caitanya. So I was instructed today to read from Teachings of Lord Caitanya, and we're going to do the introduction today. So we'll read and see how it goes. We'll do some explanations. You can ask questions if you don't understand. Okay? Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmalaitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Caitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Shindubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Please repeat. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, introduction to the teachings of Lord Caitanya. So, it says here, originally delivered as 5 morning lectures on the Chaitanya Charitamrita. The authoritative biography of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami before the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, New York City, April 10th to the 14th, 1967. Yeah. So Prabhupada has spoken this introduction as a form of 5 morning lectures on the Chaitanya Charitamrita. The word Chaitanya means living force. Charita means character, and Amrita means immortal. So as living entities, we can move, we can perform some actions and things like that. But this table, it cannot move, right? On its own. It cannot move. It cannot, after I finish speak here, it's not going to take a walk on its own and go back to its place there. Right? So, movement or anything that's animate we can say that thing has a living force within it. Right? Prabhupada says that although the living force is present in the material condition, this condition is not Amrita. It's not immortal. The words Chaitanya Charitamrita may be translated as the character of the living force in immortality. Right? Caitanya Charit Amrita, the character of the living force in immortality. So we are all spirit souls, the jivas. We're not this body. But the only reason this body is moving or it's changing is because there's a... Why is the body moving or changing, growing older? Because the soul is present within the body. It's entrapped within the body. Right? So the soul is immortal. It cannot die. If we read Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is teaching this in the very beginning. This is the ABC of spiritual life. The soul cannot die, it's immortal. And therefore, Caitanya Charit Amrita, this book that describes the pastimes and the glories of Lord Chaitanya, is called the character of the living force in immortality. So we'll read further. But how is this living force displayed immortally? It is not displayed by man or any other creature in this material universe, for none of us are immortal in these bodies, right? This body is going to eventually come to a stage where the soul cannot live in it anymore, cannot dwell in this body. And then the soul leaves the body, and that's called death, right? So this body is not immortal. And in this material condition, in this material world, we cannot live in a certain body forever. We possess the living force, we perform activities, and we are immortal by our nature and constitution. But the material condition into which we have been put does not allow our immortality to be displayed. It is stated in the Katha Upanishad that eternality and the living force belong to both ourselves and God. Right? So we are part and parcel of God. And because God is the supreme soul, is eternal, so we are part and parcel of God, and therefore we are also eternal. The spiritual sparks are also eternal. Although this is true in that both God and ourselves are immortal, there is a difference. Right? As living entities, we perform many activities, but we have a tendency to fall down into material nature. God has no such tendency. Being all-powerful, He never comes under the control of material nature. Indeed, material nature is but one display of His inconceivable energies. So, the jivas, that's us, the conditioned souls, we have fallen from the spiritual world to this material world. But just because we have fallen, it does not mean that God can also fall down into this material world. The material energy is also one of the energies that belongs to God, that belongs to Krishna. It is Krishna's energies. So, He is the controller of all energies, and therefore He cannot be controlled by His energy. He is controlling everything. So the Prabhupada gives an analogy, and the analogy goes that from the ground, when we look up, we see the sky, the clouds, we can see the sun. But sometimes when there's full of clouds, when we look up, we cannot see the sun, right? So in order to see the sun, we have to go above the clouds. Yes? So then he says that from the skyscrapers and cities, from the sky, skyscrapers and cities seem very tiny. Similarly, from God's position, this entire material creation is insignificant. The tendency of the living entity is to come down from the heights, where everything can be seen in perspective. God, however, does not have this tendency. Right? So we fall down. God does not have to come to this material world. to look at everything in perspective. The Supreme Lord is not subject to fall down into illusion or Maya any more than the sun is subject to fall beneath the clouds. So this is a very nice analogy because Krishna is compared to the sun. Right? Can the sun fall down below the clouds? Cannot. So just like that, Krishna, he doesn't, there's no chance of him falling down to the material world. But there's some philosophers or some, they call Mayavadis, they say that both the living entity and God are under the control of Maya, right? When they come to this material world. So in other words, when they're saying that when God comes to the material world, when His or in any incarnation comes, that they fall under the control of Maya. So this is Prabhupada saying this is the fallacy of their philosophy. Because how can God be God if He comes under the control of Maya, of illusion? It's not possible. That's not God. So then Prabhupada says that Lord Caitanya should therefore be considered not be considered one of us. He is Krishna himself, the supreme living entity, and as such, he never comes under the cloud of Maya. So many people, even in India, they think that Lord Caitanya is like an ordinary person, maybe some saint or some powerful person, They don't believe that he is God, or they don't understand that he is God. But we understand from scripture that Lord Caitanya is non-different from Krishna. He is Krishna himself. And Krishna's expansions, Krishna's incarnations, Krishna's pure devotees, they cannot fall under the spell of Maya. Lord Caitanya came to earth simply to preach Krishna Bhakti, love for Krishna. In other words, he is Lord Krishna himself, teaching the living entities the proper way to worship Krishna. Right? So Krishna came some 5,000 years ago and he spoke Bhagavad Gita. And what's the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita? What does Krishna say? Surrender unto him. Give up abandon all forms of religion, all dharma, and just surrender unto me. Right? Krishna is saying. But then, when Krishna went back to the spiritual world, he left this place, people were still not surrendering. We were not surrendering to him. And so he has to come again to teach us how to surrender to him. How to abandon everything, all these attachments that we have in the material world. And then he comes again in the form of Lord Caitanya to preach Krishna Bhakti, devotion to Krishna, love for Krishna, Krishna Prem. And so it's God coming down and teaching us how to surrender unto him. Right? So Prabhupada says that he is like a teacher who, seeing a student doing poorly, takes up a pencil and writes, saying, do it like this, A, B, C. I remember when I was in primary school, so when the students couldn't write properly, the teacher used to come, hold their hand, and write A, B, C, like that. So this is what Lord Caitanya does. He's coming and he's teaching us like this, like we children, we're primary school children. Because we're not understanding. Krishna is saying, Sarva dharma parityagya, give up everything, surrender unto me. But still we're not understanding. So he has to come and treat us like children and teach us, this is how you surrender to me. Okay? It's not that because the teacher does this, then the teacher is also trying to learn how to write. No. The teacher is the teacher, he already knows. Right? I'm not going to read everything. I'm just going to pick on few important points and then elaborate on that. Yeah, so like we said, Krishna comes, he says, give up all your nonsense and surrender, right? But then what do we say? I can't surrender everything, right? I have so many responsibilities, so many things to take care of. How can we just surrender? And then Maya, illusion, Prabhupada says, she's saying, don't do it, don't surrender, or you'll be out of my clutches. Just stay in my clutches, and I can kick you more, more and more. Right? Maya is saying like this. So this is true, that we are being kicked all the time by Maya, by this illusory energy. Right? And then Prabhupada speaks very strongly about how he gives an analogy like, just as the male ass is kicked in the face by the she ass when he comes for sex, similarly cats and dogs are always fighting and things. So he says even an elephant in the jungle is caught by the use of a trained she elephant who leads him into a pit. We should learn by observing these tricks of nature. So what this Prabhupada is saying is that the most what can I say? The strongest shackle that Maya has on us is the opposite sex, the female sex, right? Prabhupada is saying. I'll read this paragraph. So Maya has many ways to entrap us, and the strongest shackle is the female. Of course, in actuality, we are neither male nor female. The male body and the female body is just bodies. We are spirit souls in whatever body, the male body or the female body. For these designations refer only to the outer dress, the body. We are not the body. We are actually Krishna's servants. Jivera Swaruphoy, Krishnera Nityadas. But in conditioned life, we are shackled by iron chains in the form of beautiful women. Thus, every male is bound by sex, and therefore one who wishes to gain liberation from the material clutches must learn to control the sex urge. Unrestricted sex puts one fully in the clutches of illusion. So this attachment for sex pleasure is the strongest shackle that Maya has on us in this material world. And therefore, from the very beginning, when we decide to take up this Krishna consciousness very seriously, and we decide that we want to become initiated, so first we have to be practicing the 4 regulative principles, one of which is no illicit sex. Right? Because everywhere all around us, illicit sex is being promoted. It's like everywhere all around us, it's normal to have illicit relations. But actually, we are practicing to stop this illicit relationships. Right? That is the normal. So it's said that in the material world, everything in the material world is a perverted reflection of the spiritual world. Right? So because illicit relations seem like the norm here, or is promoted as the norm here, in the spiritual world it is not the normal. Shri Shri Radha Radhanath Ki Jai. Right? It is the perverted reflection. So Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu officially renounces this illusion at the age of 24. Although his wife was 16 and his mother 70, and he was the only male in the family. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he taught this to renounce or to give up this illicit sex or sexual attachment by taking sannyas at the age of 24. Right? This is what him taking sannyas is teaching us. He took sannyas, the renounced order of life, and thus extricated himself from family entanglement. If we wish to become fully Krishna conscious, we have to give up the shackles of Maya. Not that easy, eh? If we have to become fully Krishna conscious, we have to give up the shackles of Maya. Prabhupada goes on to say that if we remain with Maya, we should live in such a way that we will not be subject to illusion, as did the many householders among Lord Chaitanya's closest devotees. With his followers in the renounced order, however, Lord Chaitanya was very strict. So Lord Chaitanya had many followers. Many were in the renounced order, and many were also in other ashrams like the Grihastha ashram. And we'll read on and see how Lord Chaitanya instructed the different devotees in different ashrams. But Prabhupada is saying that if we remain with Maya, we should live in such a way that we will not be subject to illusion. So Lord Chaitanya, he had one servant called Junior Haridas, Chota Haridas, right? So Chota Haridas, he was in the renounced order, or was he a brahmachari? I'm not sure. Either brahmachari or sannyasi. But anyway, he was not married. And he was with Lord Chaitanya, and he looked at a woman very lustfully. Right? Just looked at her. And Lord Chaitanya, he told him, "You are living with me in the renounced order, and yet you are looking at a woman with lust." And then he just kind of banished Chota Haridas, you know. And then the other devotees were saying, they were pleading to Lord Chaitanya, he's a good devotee, you don't have to give him such a harsh punishment. But Lord Chaitanya was teaching this example that we shouldn't be duplicitous like that. We're in the renounced order, but we're looking at women lustfully, right? And then when Lord Chaitanya learned that one of his householder devotees, his householder followers, when they had a little baby, then he even instructed them on what name to give the baby. Right? So we see that he interacted with the different devotees who are in the different ashrams in different ways. If one was in the renounced order, then he made sure that they follow very strictly in that order. And then in the Grihastha ashram, regulated sex is allowed, sex for the propagation or for begetting good children, Krishna conscious children, God conscious children, right? That's all. And when that happened, when one of the devotees fell pregnant, and Lord Chaitanya, he asked that the baby be given a certain auspicious name, like that. So while the Lord approved of householders having regulated sex, he was like a thunderbolt with those in the renounced order who tried to cheat by the method known as, the analogy, drinking water underwater while bathing on a fasting day. He says like this: drinking water underwater while bathing on a fasting day. Right? So, in other words, he tolerated no hypocrisy amongst his followers. So the Chaitanya Charitamrita teaches us how, Lord Chaitanya teaches us how to break free from the shackles of Maya. Thus, as mentioned above, the title may be properly translated as the character of the living force in immortality. So, the supreme living force is the supreme personality of Godhead. He is also the supreme entity. There are innumerable living entities, and all of them are individuals. This is very easy to understand. We are all individual in our thoughts and desires, and the Supreme Lord is also an individual person. But he is different in that he is the leader, the one who is in control of everything. Right? We are not in control. We're not even in control of this body. Right? But the difference between us and Krishna, us and the Supreme Lord, is that Krishna, the Supreme Lord, is in control of everything. So, Prabhupada quotes this verse from the Bhagavad Gita. He speaks about where Bhagavad Gita 4.6, and he says, we are all individual in our thoughts and desires, and the Supreme Lord is also an individual person. He is different though. Okay, wait, sorry. Like each of the living entities, the Lord is an individual, but he is different in that he is the supreme individual. God is also infallible, and thus in the Bhagavad Gita he is addressed as Achyuta, which means he who never falls down. This name is appropriate because in the Bhagavad Gita Arjuna falls into illusion, but Krishna does not. Right? Arjuna, he didn't want to perform his duty as a Kshatriya. Krishna himself reveals his infallibility when he says to Arjuna, when I appear in this world, I do so by my own internal potency. So whenever God comes to this material world, he comes by his own potency. He's not forced, right? He comes by his own internal potency. Thus we should not think that Krishna is overpowered by the material potency when he is in the material world. And this is very nice, that neither Krishna nor his incarnations come under the control of material nature. They are totally free. Indeed, in Srimad Bhagavatam, one who has a godly nature is actually defined as one who is not affected by the modes of material nature, although in the material nature. So, even if a devotee can attain this freedom, then what to speak of the Supreme Lord? So the Supreme Lord is always free. He is not controlled by the material nature. And Prabhupada is saying that even the devotees who follow nicely, the pure devotees, they are free from material nature. Right? So then he says that the real question is, how can we remain unpolluted by material contamination while in the material world? So we're living here in this material world. We're interacting with so many things that are polluting our consciousness and things like that. So how to remain unpolluted? So Srila Rupa Goswami explains that we can remain uncontaminated while in the world if we simply make it our ambition to serve Krishna. Yeah? Simply make it our ambition to serve Krishna. So even though we're living in this material world, whatever we do in the material world, do it to serve Krishna. We have so many duties and responsibilities in the material world, in this family responsibility, work responsibilities, community, country, whatever it may be. So many. And yes, it's very nice that if you can give up everything and simply just serve Krishna full time in the temple. But not everybody can do that. People are married. People have to take care of others that are not devotees. Right? It's difficult sometimes. And so we have to do things that we may not want to do, but we are obliged to do as a duty. Right? But whatever we do it as a service to Krishna. In other words, our consciousness has to change. And that's what we mean when we say become Krishna conscious. Making our conscious of Krishna. Right? So to become Krishna conscious. And we heard this many times that it said if you're working and you're earning money, use your money in the service of Krishna. Yes, you have to take care of your family. Your family are also devotees. Very good. That's serving Krishna because you're using your money to serve devotees. Right? But many times the question is asked, how do we balance material life and spiritual life? And I always thought to myself, like, why are people, why are they asking this question? How do you balance material life and spiritual life? Yes, we're in the material world and we have to perform material activities. But when they ask, how do you balance it? What are they meaning? Do they want to be spiritual 50% and then be material 50% of the time? Do they want to go to the movies and do materialistic things, what karmis do? Is that what the balance they're talking about? So I was thinking to myself that if you want to be a devotee, then you have to be 100% devotee, 100% of the time. Yes, we may perform material activities in the process, but the consciousness has to be spiritual. And we always have to ask ourselves, whatever I am doing, am I doing it to please Krishna? Or am I doing it, whatever I do, is Krishna pleased by that activity? And if the answer is no, that Krishna is not going to be pleased, then don't do the activity. That's the balance. Right? So simply make it our ambition to serve Krishna. Okay, I'm going to skip some because I have to do the first 6 pages. We're only on page 3. Right, so in the second verse of the Caitanya Charitamrita, the author offers these obeisances to Lord Caitanya and Lord Nityananda. He compares them to the sun and the moon because they dissipate the darkness of the material world. In this instance, the sun and the moon have risen together. So Lord Caitanya is the sun, Lord Nityananda is compared to the moon. And both the sun and the moon have risen together on the land of Nadia, of Gaudadesh. Right? In the Western world, where the glories of Lord Caitanya are relatively unknown, one may inquire, who is Krishna Caitanya? So the author of the Caitanya Charitamrita, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj, answers that question in the 3rd verse of this book. Generally in the Upanishads, the supreme absolute truth is described in an impersonal way. But the personal aspect of the absolute truth is mentioned in the Ishopanishad, where we find the following verse. Hiranyamayana patrena satyasya pihitam mukam tatvam pusham aparvrinu satya dharmaya drishtaya. O my Lord, sustainer of all that lives, your real face is covered by your dazzling effulgence. Kindly remove that covering and exhibit yourself to your pure devotee. It's from the Sri Ishopanishad, mantra 15. So Prabhupada explains that how the impersonalists, they do not have the power to go beyond the Brahmajyoti, the effulgence of the Lord, right? And arrive at the highest conclusion of Bhagavan, personality of Godhead. They can't understand that this effulgence of the Lord, this Brahmajyoti, is coming from a person, from Bhagavan. Right? The Ishopanishad is a hymn to the personality of Godhead. It is not that the impersonal Brahman is denied, it is also described, but that Brahman is revealed to be the glaring effulgence of the body of Lord Krishna. And in the Caitanya Charitamrita, we learn that Lord Caitanya is Krishna himself. In other words, Sri Krishna Chaitanya is the basis of the impersonal Brahman. The Paramatma or Super Soul who is present within the heart of every living entity is within every atom of the universe and is but the partial representation of Lord Chaitanya. Therefore, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, being the basis of both Brahman and the all-pervading Paramatma as well, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami establishes in the Chaitanya Charitamrita how Lord Chaitanya is Krishna. He is the Supreme Lord. Right? So we can't get into it too much because there's not enough time. And then he explains how Lord Chaitanya is also full in the six opulences. The six opulences: wealth, fame, strength, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation. And then Srila Rupa Goswami, he says, Mahavadanyaya Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratushay Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, who is more magnanimous than any other avatar, even Krishna himself, because he is bestowing freely what no one else has ever given, pure love of Krishna. So, Lord Chaitanya is described as the most magnanimous. He is even more magnanimous than Krishna himself. Because what he is giving? Pure love of Krishna, Krishna Prem. No other incarnation has ever done this. Right? And he's not just giving Krishna Prem to the devotees, to his devotees, he's giving it freely to everybody. Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, this is their purpose. Giving it freely. And therefore we have to take shelter of Lord Chaitanya. Because we cannot get to Radha Krishna without the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. And so how do you please Lord Chaitanya? Anyone? How do we please Lord Chaitanya? Chanting. Yeah, chanting, yes. Yes, Lord Chaitanya has demonstrated, like we said in the beginning, that Lord Chaitanya is Krishna, coming down to teach us how to worship Krishna, how to please Krishna, how to love Krishna. So how do we do this? Develop that love? Is yes, chanting Krishna's name. Seriously chanting Krishna's name. You know, we have no idea the potency of Krishna's name. We read about it, we hear about it, right? We may have some theoretical knowledge. But when you actually surrender to Sri Nam, to the name, then that Krishna gives that mercy. He may give it in little droplets, you know, small drops. Because if he gives it too much, we may leave the body too quick, too soon, right? So if you really surrender to the name, Krishna gives you those droplets of nectar. You'll taste it, the Amrita. So this is what Lord Chaitanya has taught. Lord Chaitanya has showed that just by chanting the name of Krishna, by the living entity hearing the name of Krishna, they develop love of God. And he demonstrated this when he was in the Jarikanda forest. And even the animals, the deers and the tigers, the elephants, they all develop love of Krishna. Right? And this is the goal, to surrender to Krishna's name, and by surrendering by surrendering to Krishna's name, then we develop love of Krishna. And yes, we want to become like those animals in the Jarikanda forest. because they were beyond the bodily concept. The tigers were hugging the deers, they were kissing, it's described. Right? But on the bodily platform, they are mortal enemies. Right? So when we take shelter of the holy name of Krishna, and when I say take shelter, I mean like not just get our 16 rounds done, but like really take to the chanting. Even if we've taken a vow to chant 16 rounds, but we're just trying to chant one round with attention. That's a good enough start for now. How many of us are just trying to chant one round with full attention? Not touching the phone, not watching TV or doing anything else. How many of us? Raise your hands. We're trying to chant at least one round with full attention. Prabhu, you can raise your hand. We know you're chanting. Right? So that, just try one round. You have to lock yourself in your bedroom or lock yourself in a place where there's no distractions. Try chanting one round and you will feel something. Do this. Okay? You chanting? Yeah? Chanting every day? Good. Yeah, so take shelter of Krishna's name. By taking shelter of Krishna's name, we will please Lord Caitanya. When we please Lord Caitanya, He will shower those droplets of Amrita. And then when you develop taste for chanting the holy name, then you want to give the holy name out to everyone. So this is another thing that Lord Caitanya has taught us. He instructed his followers, Lord Nityananda and Haridas Thakur and the others, they go to different parts of India and preach Krishna consciousness, give the holy name of Krishna to everyone. And Raghunath Bhatta Prabhu on Sunday, right? Yeah, he spoke also on the same book. And he was saying that how Lord Chaitanya instructed them, go door to door, knock on the doors. This is the process. To go door to door, and they were begging, please chant Krishna, please chant Krishna. Right? And we know how, and yes, there'll be impediments, there'll be some jagais and madais out there who want to attack you. Right? But we know, we go out all the time and there's jagas and madais want to attack us, but Krishna is protecting. Krishna will protect you. Right? So I'll stop there. There's, I think, 5 minutes left for questions or comments. Yes, Mataji.
On the introduction to Caitanya Charitamrita that Srila Prabhupada has given. And it's a book, a particular book that you're reading from. What is the book again?
Teachings of Lord Chaitanya is the name of the book.
So it is recorded as 5 lectures.
Yes. It's 5 lectures, different lectures given by Prabhupada, put into the book form.
So which volume of the Caitanya Charitamrita is it in?
No, this is a different, it's not the Caitanya Charitamrita. It's called Teachings of Lord Chaitanya.
Okay,
it's like a summary study of the
and
Chaitanya Charitamrita.
It's a bound book with 5 lectures in it.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
We have it, yeah, I'm sure, at the book table. Satyarani? It's there. Yeah.
Thank you.
Anyone want to say anything? Prabhu? Yeah. Give him the mic. Sorry.
just thinking that you have such a taste for the holy name,
Oh,
going out on Harinams, preaching. So maybe you could share, how you developed that taste.
okay. Well, I don't know if I have so much of taste, but fortunately for me, when I first came into contact with the movement, I was told, before coming here, I read the Bhagavad Gita, Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita as it is. And in every purport of Srila Prabhupada's, he's speaking about surrender to Krishna's name. Right? So, so Prabhupada obviously instructs in all his books. It's surrender to the holy name, surrender to the holy name. And then when I came here, fortunately, I met devotees, yourself one of them, who following Srila Prabhupada by taking shelter of the holy name. Associating with devotees who are attached to the holy name. My spiritual master, Kadamakanana Swami, he had so much taste for chanting the holy name as well. And I got lots of inspiration from him. And also, I don't know, I just love listening to talks about Krishna's name. So, associating with devotees who have taste for chanting Krishna's names, who have attachment to the holy name, and listening to many lectures on the holy name. And in this way, trying to chant sincerely without any offenses. And I've seen that over the years that I've been practicing, yes, I have developed some attachment for Krishna's name. Like that. I was reading one quote by Maharaj, by His Holiness Kadambakanana Swami, and he said, someone asked him, how does he have love for Krishna's name? And then he said, no, he doesn't think that he has love for Krishna's name, for Krishna, or for the holy name. Because he says that love is such a big word. But we want to get there. We want to start loving Krishna in the form of his holy name, in whatever form. But Maharaj said that he knows he is addicted to kirtan. Yeah. So like that, I think we all want to become addicted to the holy name. Because when you're addicted to some drug, we'll do anything to obtain that drug. So just like that, we have to become addicted to Krishna's name. And whatever we do will be to serve the holy name. Yeah, so that's how I developed this attachment for Krishna's name. Is that okay, Prabhu?
Thank you. I'm recalling that when I first met you, some many years ago.
Yeah.
What year was that?
I think it was 2008 9 or something. 8, I think. Yeah. 8 or 9, something like that.
Yeah. It was a Krishna Astami, and the devotee was leading the kirtan, was an amazing singer.
Yeah.
Sang for a few hours, I think, you know.
Ishwarapuri.
Ishwarapuri, yeah. It was an amazing kirtan, and you were in ecstasy.
Yeah.
Recall.
Yeah, that was like one of my first experiences with the holy name. And yes, Ishwarapuri Prabhu is an amazing kirtaniya. He has taste for chanting Krishna's name.
Yeah, sure.
And just like that, we feed off the energies of these devotees that have, taste for Krishna, chanting Krishna's name. And that's why I like to be with devotees. I like to chant with the devotees, my japa in the mornings. Whenever I get a chance to come to temple to chant, I want to come and chant. Because by chanting with the devotees, then we get the energies, the energy from the devotees to surrender more to the holy name. Because it's not the same chanting alone at home. There's so many distractions, Yeah.
Yeah, and the other thing, we did a japa retreat together.
Yeah.
And the people never had that experience like they had that experience on that particular day.
Yes.
just chanting together and entering into a very deep kirtan.
Yeah.
We were just like, taken
those-
aback by it. So thank you
Those
very
are good
much.
sessions.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Gopal Raj Prabhu, you wanted to say something? Gopal Raj Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So in my case, I preach to a lot of Africans because of my situation, my work situation. Many a times, like this one incident, not one, many incidents. My workers sit in the back of the bakkie. So there's a lot of, on the way, guys want lift.
Yeah.
So I stop, and my men know what to do. And especially one guy that, takes alcohol. He doesn't forget to chant the holy name. So as soon as these guys jump into the bakkie, and I tell them, start. So they tell them, listen, you all have come into this bakkie under one condition. They say, what's the condition? You have to chant the holy name. What's this holy name? Say Hare Krishna. Some of them do say that.
Yeah.
What is Hare Krishna? Oh, it's the name of God. Okay, Hare Krishna. And some of them say, no, we don't want to chant that name. We say Jesus. So I stop the bakkie. I tell him to get out. So the guys tell him, you have to come out because you're not chanting the holy name of the Lord. So they jump off. And as I'm taking off, they say, Hare Krishna, stop! Hare Krishna, stop! And they get inside. So the following day, we went past again. This time, the one that didn't want to chant, he is chanting now. Hare Krishna, please stop, I want a lift. And even in the townships, like many schools, we go and distribute prasad. Like when we chant in the schools and all the children get together and chant. And now that we are not going to distribute this prasad at the schools and we drive through, you see the school children in the morning, Hare Krishna, all of them, you just hear them all over shouting Hare Krishna. So His holy name is really powerful.
Yes.
Even on the beach, many a times I've taken children to the beach and gave them a lift and go past again another time, past their schools, you'll find them chanting Hare Krishna. You hear them calling Hare Krishna. So this holy name is really powerful.
Absolutely.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu, for making everyone chant. Okay, we'll stop here. We're over time. Shri Caitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Nitai Gaura Premanande. So today we have a Harinam at the beachfront, starting at about 10:30, 11. If anybody can make it to North Beach, Mini Town. Sorry.